All right, Beyond the Cypher, episode 5. We got straight out of Detroit, hardcore Detroit. My man Strings. What up, Strings? How you doing, man?
What up, though? Good to be here.
I got a really good friend from Detroit. We were in the military together back in the day, and that's his, every time I call him, "What up, though? What up, though?" The same exact thing, man. So that's dope. So I'm assuming you born and raised, right? You born and raised Detroit.
Born and raised in Detroit all my life. Um, West side of Detroit, actually. Been here. I went to college for a couple of years in Kalamazoo. It's like 4 hours away. So that's like my only time, like, besides, traveling outside of Detroit.
No doubt, man. So, what is the history of the Midwest scene? Like as from your perspective.
Yeah, I can only talk from my perspective. I mean, we definitely had a scene. We still have a scene. When I came up, in the 90s, my influences was people in my family. My brother was a rapper. My cousin I used to look up to, Hakeem, um, RIP, you know what I'm saying? He was like my intro into like b-boying and dancing. He lived out like, about 35 minutes away, Mount Clemens. I had a lot of family out in that area. But, I wanted to be like him, you know what I'm saying? At all of the family reunions and stuff, he used to, get down, man. He used to do the performances and things like that. He was a pillar, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people in my family actually danced, but he was like actually doing, breaking, popping, and all that type of stuff. So that gravitated to that. Um, when I was really young, coming up, but after that, I kind of got out of it after he passed away. And when I got into high school, that's kind of when I got back into it. My brother, he was an MC, he was older, and he used to go to this club called St. Andrews. I know y'all, familiar with that by now. 8 Mile, the movie, um, the rap battles and stuff like that. So I would just be around him and around that environment, and that's kind of exposed me and like got me back into like, yo, you know what I'm saying? That's seeing people in the clubs spinning on their heads, you know what I'm saying? Actually, one of my crew members, U-Turn, a lot of people may know him, you know what I'm saying? He was like a key person because, when I went to the club, I was underage at the time, but I seen him spinning on his head, you know what I'm saying? And from there, you know what I'm saying? I just, went back home, started from what I knew, of course, the old tapes, Beat Street, you know what I'm saying? All those movies and stuff, man, that's where I learned from.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? That was like the resource right there, the source. Um, and then from that, just getting in the community, going to the clubs, finding people, the practice spots, things like that. So, uh, slowly started to make my way in the culture and the key spots like that. U-Turn actually, after a while, after, my skills started to come up and things like that, because it was real organic. It was like, I didn't even really approach them until like, I got to a certain level to where they they saw that, you know what I'm saying, I was, committed to it, and, I was showing my face, and, I was increasing in skill. And at that point, you know what I'm saying, he was like, yo, there's an event in New York, man, you should come through. It's going to cost a certain amount of money, save up for it, and you can roll with us. And actually, that was my first flight. It was to New York Rocksteady anniversary. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even then, though, just having my name, Bboy Stringz, you know what I'm saying? When I signed up for the battle, it was like, you know, people had these alias names and things like that. My brother used to call me String Bean, you know what I'm saying? And I just, actually, I signed up under String Bean, but later on, I just took off the bean and called myself
Put that
String
Z.
Bean. Yeah, yeah,
No doubt.
yeah.
So, like, what was the climate like when you came in? Were there like already established crews? Was it just a bunch of people just like disconnected, but they're just battling, or how was it?
Okay, from what I remember, you had people that just rock with each other, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, when I was going to St. Andrews, it was a lot of, you know, just people like doing different styles. So it's like, you know, like U-Turn, B-Boy, T-Moore, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's kind of what I gravitated to. But it was people doing, you know, locking and things like that. But it wasn't like no crews. You know what I'm saying? It's like every now and then people might get together and do a show together. But I didn't see like how we know as crews today was like during that time. You know what I'm saying? There was now, you know, I'm like remembering, but there was crews though. There was like crews called like Chaos Crew, they were like an Asian squad, you know what I'm saying? NSA. You know, there was crews that I heard about, you know what I'm saying? It was Motor City Rockers, like, you know, the original Motor City Rockers. That was a squad that I used to hear about. And then there were, you know, other crews as well that like the OGs would talk about, things like that. But that's kind of like, you know, kind of like I didn't really see anything or anything like that.
No.
But yeah, there was a lot of, we had definitely a lot of dancers, man. Just dancers straight up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we live in the blackest city in the
In
US,
America.
man. Like everybody can dance, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I mean, you start dancing everywhere, man. So it's like, you know, yeah, so from my vantage point, definitely we had crews, just like around my time. I think, you know, breakin was like already, you know, it had reached that threshold where it was really popular, and then, you know, it was back underground. So like, you know, when I was doing it and stuff like that, people was like, y'all, you know, that's old, you still doing that, y'all still doing that. So it wasn't really like how it is now. It was like, you know, we had to find key people and find places to practice, and, you know, we was very rare. We were rare people at the time.
Wow.
So, and then, yeah.
So when you guys go to the Rocksteady anniversary, is that hardcore Detroit, or is hardcore Detroit not non-existent yet?
It's just like the roots of it was, but we didn't have the name at the time, and it wasn't like, oh, he was a crew. It was just like I was saying, it was just, you know, eventually U-Turn, you know, was, you know, we at the beginning, you know, he was there, hardcore Detroit. We would enter some battles together and things like that, but not under hardcore Detroit. It's just that, you know, later on when it was like, man, okay, it's that time to like, you know, start, you know, putting these pieces together and being official, and then finding that right name. That was like in like 2000, 2001, you know what I'm saying? Where it was like, okay, boom, we're gonna start branding ourselves and doing it like this. Because, you know, we didn't really have a, you know, it wasn't really like a model to follow really, or like somebody saying, oh, like, this is how you're supposed to do it. You know, we were just like like-minded folks, you know, liking the art and just doing anything we could do to get better and, you know, get more information and knowledge. It was just that simple. You know, unfortunately, you know, at that time it was great because, you know, the people that was around was just, we were so like-minded. It's like, you know, it was, you know, looking back on hindsight, you know what I'm saying, it was really, you know, we didn't have like a lot of problems or tension, you know, things like that may have came later and I had to deal with, but like, it was just so easy. And I don't know if it was just because it was rare and, you know, we just loved to do it, and we was just trying anything, you know, so we just didn't let certain tension get away. But I don't know, I feel like later on, it's just like a lot of other stuff just popped up, and, you know, it came to the game as far as like, you know, keeping a group together. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I shouldn't have to force nobody to come to practice, you know what I'm saying? There's just like certain things that I just didn't think.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You know, I mean, I could go on, but, you know, it's cool, man. It's a learning thing, you know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot, man.
One thing I like, though, I like talking to to taller b-boys. I mean, they can't tell from from the shot that we have, but you are definitely over 6 feet. Me personally, I'm on the short side of tall. I'm like maybe a half inch over 6 foot. And like sometimes like I'm just like looking at the advantages and disadvantages. What is like for me, I think a disadvantage are ciphers. When the ciphers start getting small, my height don't go down with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, ooh, somebody might catch a foot. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I don't have control. It's just that the guy I'm battling is like 5'8", and it just makes it totally different. Like, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages for you?
Okay, well, a lot of the like, you know, shorter people that used to always say, man, your height though, man, it just make the moves look so much sweeter. And I didn't never got that until like a little bit later. I kind of understood because like we tall, so we can take certain things for granted. But it's like I'm looking at the short people and like, man, if I was shorter and more compact, I would be able to do. I feel like I would be able to do stuff a little bit more simpler, or I feel like being tall, it's like the form has to be really crispy. You know what I'm saying? In order for it to like translate. So just little stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Definitely being in the circles, I just also too, like people would tell me I was tall, but it's like, I don't know, for some reason, like that was something I suppressed. So I'm thinking I'm short, just like y'all, man. I can do anything y'all do, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's my mentality. But yeah, like it does matter though in certain instances.
So, cause how tall are you? You about what, 6'3"?
6'3", yeah.
Yeah. So you like tall in real life. I'm tall in breaking. No doubt. So
I hear that.
But like you were saying, and like you said, people told you. I think as you start to build your skill set and you start to get more comfortable in your style, your moves do look a little bit more dynamic because, like for instance, when you hit a freeze, and especially if your legs are straight, it's like bow because it's so long and big, and you're like commanding so much space. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I feel you on that. And then also, you practice the Muslim faith, right? So how does that factor in, or does it?
Yeah, that factor in a lot, man. Oh shit, I was like, where do I start? I'm gonna start by saying assalamu alaikum to my Muslim people that's gonna be watching. You know what I'm saying? All praises due to the Most High. I say, I give all praises to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It factors in because, I mean, I guess I'll start here, like, when because everybody wants success and things like that. But it keeps you humble, you know what I'm saying? And also, I feel like, if you follow it, your best way, in this religion, he's gonna bless you for what you're supposed to have. And for the most part, I've seen it, I witnessed it. That's my testimony. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might not be like the most popular b-boy, you know what I'm saying? Like how people want that, to be known everywhere and stuff like that. But I am in my community, and I made some strides and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I was able to like, win competitions overseas and things like that. And like, even, becoming like a cultural ambassador through the dance, and also become like a huge pillar in my scene as far as like pushing our own dance form and things like that. So he has blessed me, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if I was known, people gave me my props and stuff, like, in the b-boy community, like, other people, I think that'd be like having my cake and eat it too, you know what I'm saying? So I try to be definitely, appreciative of what he has given me. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Word, man, that's dope. Because if I'm not doesn't the religion the name translate to peace or something like that?
Yeah, so it has a root word in salam, and we all know salam is peace. So Islam, salam, definitely. So it's definitely a religion of peace, and it's a monotheistic religion, which means one creator that's separate from his creation. And we believe in all of the prophets. You know, we believe in Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, Moses, Abraham, peace and blessings be upon him, Noah, all of those. So we follow the Abraham lineage. And we believe that the final prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, Muhammad, you know, not of the Nation of Islam, but the Muhammad that lived over 1400 years ago, is the final prophet that he came for. His message was for all mankind. And what separates him from all other prophets is that, yes, his message for all mankind, all the previous messengers was for a particular nation or a particular people at that time. Like Jesus was for the lost sheep. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna ask you, like, okay, so you know how, you know, if you know, you're representing your religion in a battle, does it limit you what you would do? Because me, I'm big on, my thing is the gun. Like I'm bringing it, I'm shooting people, you know what I'm saying, I'm stabbing people, all kind of stuff. And I'm assuming, and you can you know what I'm saying, inform us, does that limit you? Like, I'm not gonna do that one.
It's interesting that you say that, because, you know, that's something I have dealt with. I feel like in my earlier years, when I was, you know, my knowledge was a little bit, you know, limited, I was more fierce, you know what I'm saying, and like cutthroat, like you say, you know, in battles. But like as you get older and wiser, you know, I kind of like, you know, step back a little bit, because, you know, like my whole thing is rawness, you know what I'm saying, too. Because this is kind of like, you know, yeah, like I said, this was the early years. You know, I converted when I was in '95. So I was still, you know, learning and things like that as you go along. But yeah, like, you know, it's about like the etiquettes, and you know, it's about like the next life as opposed to this life. You know what I'm saying? And being pious and things like that. So I really try to walk that fine line. Even like the name of my crew, hardcore. Something about that name, you know, just early on, just stuck with me. So when it was time to like create a name, I was like, I'm gonna use this. I always used to love this word, and that says so much, because I just like the rawness of the dance. I like just rawness in art, period. Yeah. So even that, man, I feel like now I just was like, dang, man, it seems like it's a little conflict. But hardcore for me, really, it just means being the best that you can be, whatever it is that you do, whatever facet it is. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, but I think other people might, when they hear the word, they might just think of it as what it is, you know. Because, you know, you got hardcore, a lot of stuff, hardcore porn, you know. It's like, it's none of that, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, it's just where I'm at in my life too, man. It's like, you know, like I had these, it's like, even to bring out that side, like sometimes even back in the day, it's like it was hard to get my best out, you know, unless I was a little bit angry. Or I used to hope somebody would call me out. You know what I'm saying? Give me a reason, but to be that guy who like talks stuff, or like, you know, be the aggressor. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, I never was into that. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And like for me, it's always been like, okay, so as I matured and grew as a person, right? What I did was I trapped that old person in breaking. And so the only time that old person can exist is in that what I consider a safe environment, where it's like, okay, because it never, like for me, it never left, but it definitely had to be, you know, dumbed down. And you know, in my life now, I can't be this knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? I'm a high school teacher. Come on, son. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, breaking is the place where it's like I banished that person to breaking. And only in those moments, and it also depends on the battle. I don't do it just like to everybody, But when you get into that mode, that is the only place I would let that mode exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, I get it, but it's like with the religion, man. It's supposed to override everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah, no. Yeah, you can't. When it comes to faith, you can't make up your own rules. Like, yeah, no, this is how I'm doing it. No.
yeah, I know it's still kind of like, and that could just be my interpretation of it, because we know other Muslims that's out there, and you know they have different approaches and things like that. But we do know in Islam, you know, Most High is the most merciful and most gracious. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all we could do is just, you know, like we all human, we make mistakes, but you just ask for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying, and be
Word up.
sincere and try to make amends. But
So a minute ago you were talking about hardcore, meaning whatever facet that you're in, and I know that you are actually involved in multiple dance styles, and the one that I find very interesting is the Jit, the Detroit Jit. And I was like, okay. Now my question is, well, one, if you want to break down some history about that and how you got involved in that, and also is how does that relate to like the Chicago Chicago footwork and the Memphis jukin? Like, are those related? Are they separate? Are they is the Jit the father? Like, how does that work?
okay, so yeah, Detroit Jit is Detroit dance style, and it's been around since the '70s. You know, me growing up being, you know, just the advocate and dance and a fan, you know, I would see that dance, play around with it, you know, see it on our local dance shows and things like that. See it at the school dances. But during that time, you know, I haven't been traveling. So it's like you think this is like everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So actually breaking played a huge part of, you know, my direction with the JIT, because when I started traveling, I, you know, you come to find out that other places had these different unique style. Like Miami had a style, you know, Japan used to come over, you know, they had a particular style. West Coast, they were a particular way. New York was a particular way. So that question, for me, I just was like, okay, you know, what did Detroit have to offer? You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. And I started to like look back and I'm like, yo, you know, I don't see this anywhere, blah, blah, blah. So going back home, you know, I would ask the questions, go to the OGs, found out it was specific to Detroit. And that's kind of like, you know, it just started from there, you know. As far as like Chicago footworking and stuff, you know, actually there was a lot of tension because, you know, we're so close, you know what I'm saying, that they were, you know, their dance form is not as old as ours. You know, we know that now. However, it's a respectable style. It's respected. We actually had a battle, the first battle that it was in 2006, I believe, called the Jit versus Juke. Juke is like an umbrella term, so footwork and fall underneath that. I was like, okay. So I named it Jit versus Juke. That battle is online. You can check it out. It was intense. But before that battle, actually, people was talking about killing each other because both styles were still underground and it was bubbling. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it was that fight to see who was going to, like, you know, get the exposure first. So after that battle, though, it was total respect on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now I feel like we just representing as a region. They have their own way of approaching fast footwork, and we have our own way. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, we still get together and battle it out. You know, we go to Chicago, they come here, blah blah blah. Memphis jukin, I can't really say because I don't know that much about it, but I know that's probably came after, you know, definitely after Jit and after Chicago footwork. And you know, I know they got the gangster walk and things like that. So I know our music is like heavily geared towards techno, electro, but it can be done to any style. But in Detroit, we played our stuff fast anyway before, you know, that was how it was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We had our own like vibe and feeling. So that's what kind of created and molded Detroit Jit. Even though it was a funk style first, but it's like when it made that transition to electro techno side, that's when it really, start to really, form the Jit. You know what I'm saying? And I have a whole documentary on the whole thing, the pioneers, and things like that. So we got a lot of history over here that's, nobody, really documented, man. And it's a shame because when I came in, I was like, why do I have to do this? Like, somebody else should did this. Right. But, that was the Most High leading me to what I was supposed to do, man. I knew it was going to be a lot of work. But.
And like from my observation, the biggest difference is that the juking is done to like rap music, and kind of like almost like some like Swisher House slash like just like a Memphis style of rapping type music. It's dope, but it's definitely different, and it makes sense that you guys put the juking on the techno, because I don't think a lot of people know, but the term techno comes from Europe, but the actual music comes from Detroit.
Like, yeah, it's weird because we have a techno museum here, and they said that somebody actually from Europe, coined the name of our music. If I'm not right, I hope I am butchering that. Which is, or Juan Atkins, who is the godfather of techno. He coined the name, and then a Europe guy actually like made it like a genre. He took it. You see what I'm saying? It's something like that. I don't want to butcher it, but yeah, it's interesting because like a few years back, we did a performance collaboration with like King Charles and Lil Buck. Buck, he's like the face of Memphis juking. So it's like, and I'm a Jitter and King Charles, Chicago Footworker, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of cool, you know what I'm saying? Bringing those three together. But yeah, definitely dope. I mean, it's all Black culture, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, so.
So, what are some of your favorite Detroit hip hop groups or acts, or like musically?
Musically, man, wow. Of course, we gotta start off with Dilla.
Can we end there too? Can we start and end?
We got to. And then I have to
wait,
shout out my brother, because okay, go ahead.
Before you get to that, and I don't know if you're gonna recall this, but where were you when you heard Dilla died?
Man,
because I remember specifically, but we'll get into that in a second.
I was somewhere in Detroit, you know what I'm saying, when I heard, man. And actually, one of his last, I went to the concert, one of his last performances at St. Andrews when he was in a wheelchair. I know he did this in a couple other places too, though. I just remember that, and just as soon as I heard the news, it just reflected me back. I was just like, dude, because I was kind of like, man, as Detroit, we was just like, this was every day for us, you know what I'm saying? So seeing him at St. Andrews, in a wheelchair, it didn't really like, like we didn't know it was that serious. Like you find out after, all the stories, him being in the hospital, making his last things like that. But yeah, man, yeah, it's definitely in Detroit at the time.
I remember, so my same homeboy that I was telling you about, who, by the side note, when they brought Illskillz into the group, he was hating. Now, all of a sudden, Illskillz the best one ever. But it's okay, But yeah. I was coming from the gym because I was still in college. I was coming from the gym, and I was about to head home. And I remember he called me, and it was like late at night. And I was like, what the hell? And he was like, man, guess what? Dilla died. And I was like, what? And I had been, a lot of people came, in my opinion, a lot of people became Dilla fans after he died. That's when all the Dilla t-shirts came out and all this, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was a Dilla fan. But I had been rocking with him since the Fantastic Volume 2, you know what I'm saying? And, a lot of other people have been rocking with him since, I don't know, the day after he died or something. It seemed like, you know what I'm saying? But whatever.
No, like Slum Village was definitely putting in work during that time in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, before they got on. I saw like so many concerts with them, like up close concert in small rooms, you know what I'm saying? So I remember them where they were, we had a huge rave culture here, you know what I'm saying? I was shocked to see them there, just, it just is weird because, you know, I don't think a lot of people know, but he did like some techno prior to SV.
Oh
You know
wow.
what I'm saying? Yeah,
I
and
didn't know that.
I would love to. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's any release, but yeah, I heard that he had a little um thing with that first.
Right.
But yeah, we would see them, um, and it's just like you from Detroit, and you just didn't know until later, like, yo, this was a unique sound, and these guys were super super special
Right.
until they got on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Yeah.
we always enjoyed the music and stuff like that. So I was grateful to be around during that time and seeing it. My brother, if it wasn't for my brother, definitely, he was in a group called Third Kind at the time. It was another underground group. Man, they were so dope. You know what I'm saying? They got music online, Third Kind. And he had, actually, that's back when, groups had their own exclusive producer. So
Mm-hmm.
the producer for Third Kind, his name is Doc Seuss, and he actually learned underneath Dylan. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying? And I remember them talking. It was always like Doc Seuss always kind of like talk about him as like almost like you know somebody to like aspire to like to be, what I'm saying, like to get better because this guy, what I'm saying. Um, And then we all know that Amp Fiddler taught, Dilla the MP, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of crazy because, my brother is really good friends with um, Amp, and I know Amp personally through my brother, man. It's just so weird how these things go. But yeah,
Yeah, man, that 6 degrees of separation is real.
crazy.
I don't have a I don't have a Slum Village story as far as like ever seeing them in person, but I do have a Elzai story because he's actually been out to Phoenix a couple times, and one time he came to Tempe, which is just a suburb of Phoenix, and it was in a small spot, small venue, and I remember we was in there breaking, and then all of a sudden he played. I can't remember what the song was, but I knew it word for word, and he just put the mic in my face. He was like, "I'm just gonna take a break. You go ahead and handle this, brother." And so like, so the ongoing joke within my crew, I'd be like, "Hey man, remember that time I performed with Elzai?"
That's
You know,
crazy, man.
yeah, man.
LSI, even him, he was like back in the day, he was like a solo act, you know what I'm saying? And,
Mm-hmm.
he would definitely be, sing with SV and all of them. And he would, rock the mic. I just remember him, and then when he got into the group, I was like, damn, I said, that's a good look, man. I was
I
like,
thought so
I didn't
too.
never, yeah, that was a real good look. But then it's like right now, man, it's almost like, man, it's like SV is kind of like the Temptations where like the group keeps going and new members come, in the
Right.
group. But it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah, no doubt, man. So, what are some of your favorite breaks, man? Like, if I'm at a Detroit jam, what break is gonna get the whole just building rocking?
the classic for me, and it's just to this day, it just never go away. Is and I know people might say, "Oh, that's old," but um,
Aren't they all?
Jimmy Castor, but what I'm saying, rest in peace. Just begun. That song is special to me, man. Like, and it's special to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying. So anytime that comes on, what I'm saying, for me, that just brings me to a certain particular time, and it's just a certain feel. You know what I'm
Right.
saying. That's like an anthem for me. But you know, really, I just feel like, to just, I traveled a lot and stuff like that. So we had phases where, of course, people would play, whatever is hot, whatever's they play at the jam, you know what I'm saying? And, that's the new music, the new mixes, things like that. So, and, I always been like the type of person that like, I always kind of like wanted to, you know, I wanted like, just innovation for me is just like a key thing. So it's like, if I was a producer or a DJ, I would have a different take on certain things. So,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we definitely have, I mean, Detroit is like, it's a special place for music. And
Right.
I just wish like producers and people would, act like it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't supposed to do what other people do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
It's okay to, have, our own approach or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not try to be like other places and people like that. So, coming from that type of cloth, man, and then, sometimes it's hard to like, really get that across to the younger generations and stuff, because, me, for me, man, I love and I always respect like the people who came before me. So that's why I did like, the documentaries and things like that, because that was key. And we didn't have the social media. We couldn't just look stuff up. So that was the way we did it. We had to seek it out. And that lets you know like how passionate you were about something. If you were willing to save up your money and go take a flight across the United States to, to get closer and get more information. So
Right.
I just feel like now, it just totally changed. But then I think, again, you don't want to come off as like one of those bitter OGs either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
a weird situation we in right now.
Yeah, man. Because well, when I think of Detroit, my favorite thing now the band wasn't from Detroit, but Motown put the record out, and that's Wes Henderson Reality. And apparently, it was supposed to be their answer to like Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
So yeah, so if you ever get a chance, you can YouTube it.
Out.
Yeah, Wes Henderson, WES Henderson Reality, and it's like a funky rock break. I think it's dope. Yeah, yeah. So anytime you get some time. So you were talking about like not being the bitter OG. So in today's breaking culture, you have DJs like the top tier DJs are making their own original breaks,
Yeah,
right? And so like, do you prefer? I'm assuming that you prefer the funk breaks over the new breaks. Would that be? I don't want to speak
not
for
necessarily, not necessarily because. Wow, this is a good one because, like I say, funk to me is funky. You know what I'm saying? For my whole thing was that hard, edgy type vibe. So yeah, I did like. I felt like like in Detroit in the clubs, all they played was rap music. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was breaking to. So it was a little bit slower. So when I went to New York and they was playing all of this old stuff, I'm like, I can't get with it. I can't really move the same. I can't really respond the same. I did a few years before coming here, and it was all to like, these, just this boom bap, hip hop, stuff. That's what it was playing in the club. So that's what my cloth. And I still to this day is just a little bit, but I, now that like I understand tops more, you know what I'm saying? And like just that whole vibe, you get how the funk is necessary. You know what I'm saying? So I have a whole new respect of funk and appreciation for it. But at the beginning, it was not like that. The way these producers now are doing it, there's some is good and some is not. But it seems like the production is not all the way there. It seems like it's like not high end, but it's good for like, quick break beat. It's got that vibe to it, but it's not like put together in the best way, or it's not like, you could tell it could have been taken further. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be like one of those timeless type, making a track that's timeless, as opposed to like, just this quick break and boom, boom, just feel. That's cool. I can get down with it. I do get down with it. And I know we got that whole political game where like, now they're censoring certain music off the internet. So you got to watch what you play. And that's why a lot of the music is like really a certain way, but then the B-boys complain about it. Right. So it's like, you have to be a digger yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you like, create your own playlist, things like that. So I kind of do that.
Yeah, man. I think like for me, it's funny that you talk about breaking in a club, because when I started breaking, I was basically by myself. I learned the 6-step off of a piece of paper that I printed out. It was like, get in a push-up position, raise your right hand, put your left foot through. I was like, okay. And so I didn't know about breaks and stuff like that. So, and I didn't have a crew. It was just me. So when I would go to the club with my homeboys, that's where all my breaking would happen. You know what I'm saying? It'd be practice at the gym Monday through Friday, Friday night and Saturday. We're going to be in some club, either in, where we were, or a lot of times we would go to Canada and we would go to the club, and that's where everything popped off. Yep. So even now to this day, when I practice, like, I'm the same. I like to listen to rap songs, but I speed them up. Mm-hmm. Technology allows us to do that. So I speed it up to a speed that I like, and I just go. Yeah. So.
And I think that's the essence of like how B-boy evolved anyway, you know what I'm saying? Where they were taking these funk tracks and, just taking certain parts of it, because this was like, they knew this was the future, which turned into like, rap, boom bap production, but now, it seemed like it's kind of separated, but I always felt like this was the B-boy trying to go in this direction. Mm-hmm. But then you have some jams where it's just all funk. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm a person that, I don't know, I just can't fake it if I'm not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that dynamic that's there,
Right. And I'm with you on that too. I think that's why, like, even though I really love Top Rock, most times I stay away from Top Rock competitions because I don't know what they're going to play. And a lot of times they just play, to me, what I consider to be the randomest of songs. And I do the randomest of moves. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out there, and you can see on my, like Nas said, it ain't hard to tell. You know what I'm saying? I'm just out there like, okay.
But so, yeah, I know you do your thing, because you won, the Under Pressure 2019 Top.
Yeah, man. I was, what's funny about that is, up until they played one song, I wasn't really even feeling those songs too much. And I remember that, but I was just like, nope, we done flew from Arizona to Montreal. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get this thing going. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to something a little bit more serious, right? So the phrase, there are black people in the future, was put on a big old billboard in Detroit. And I believe that it was speaking to the gentrification that's been going on in Detroit for I don't know how many years. Like, how is that affecting like the city, the scene, like the hip hop scene, so on and so forth?
Oh man, yeah.
Because we talking about Motown, you know what I'm saying? Motown, Detroit, Rock City. Like, there's definitely a history there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's like bittersweet. I'll say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, I've seen where I lived in areas in Midtown, because that's where a lot of the gentrifications happen. I lived in Midtown for over like almost 10 years, and I ended up getting pushed out because of gentrification, me and my wife.
Wow.
But that's cool, because we found this new spot, and we're in this new kind of artsy area, but we kind of know this is going to be the next spot. It's going to be gentrified. It's
Oh
lit.
no! Because
Yeah,
isn't
so
that how it always works? Like it starts off
that's
as this
how it
cool,
works.
artsy, hip area with hipsters and
Yeah,
stuff like that. You're like, man, this place is
yeah,
dope. And then
yeah,
then the people who own everything, they say, oh, it is dope. Well, let's
yep.
start raising these prices. But go ahead, brother. My bad.
So that's basically how it happened. Raise the prices, and it's actually, man, we had a good little thing going over there, man, paying nice rent, and but our building ended up getting messed up because of the uh, some weather in the winter time, and so they already like let a whole bunch of people go. You know what I'm saying? They let us and a few other tenants stay. Um, but then when that happened, they were just like, okay, everybody go out. So we had we had less than a month, but we was willing to stick it through, you know, because they was renovating it at the same time too. But so we had less than a month to find somewhere else new, man. We've been there for like 9 years. Um, so I mean, it's bittersweet because like the area that I was just talking about, you know, that was a pretty rough, raw area. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was kind of surrounded by these other, you know, entities and things like that. But we started to see it slowly change. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people riding their bikes, you know, people with the little dogs, you know, saying like, dang, you know, it's kind of dangerous to be just, you know, but we knew something, you know, it was coming, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So, so I mean, you know, of course, all of the shops and things started popping up, you know, uh, when you start to like be able to actually, you know, to actually, you know, benefit from all these things in the neighborhood now and, you know, enjoy these things, you got to go. So it's kind of bittersweet because, yeah, it is putting money behind it. It's attracting people. It's just like a good time. So it's like a make or break time, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
People got to come and do the right things. Um, in some cases it is. I mean, you have like the Kresge Foundation who was here kind of like right before things started to pop off that way. That was putting money in local artists. You know, I won a $25,000 grant. You know what I'm saying? As an artist, you know,
Wow.
just being from the Detroit area and being able to show and prove, you know, my history and lay it out, and I was able to benefit from that. Benefited from another foundation, Night Arts, another 12 that helped me 12,000 to help me uh, launch my documentary. So I felt like, so that's the sweet part about it, where like they understood the importance of culture. They was willing to invest in it. You know what I'm saying? So I can't hate on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's like the upside. You know, uh, downside is like, okay, some of the spots we used to had really dope music, like really low key, you know, cost nothing to go in these clubs, like with house dance and, you know, dope music. It's where all the people who congregating, you know, getting turned upside down, basically.
Mm.
So that's the downside. You know, just, you know, doing events, hard to get venues, you know what I'm saying? It's like people don't want to, I don't know, like looking at you like I'm the outsider. I've been living here, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know,
Born and raised.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's a huge, you just see like, you know, we live in like the blackest city, but it doesn't reflect with ownership. You know what I'm saying? Like if I want to rent out a venue, there's nobody that looks like me that I'm able to rent from. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? And like
Right.
it's just weird too because you know you don't want to be that guy. you
Right.
know,
Right.
you know, like to connect these dots. You know what I'm saying? I could. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yo, you know. Also, I have to shout out to the CCNDC. It's a place where we practice. We've been practicing there for like 15 years. I have the key. I open it up Mondays and Wednesdays, you know, for the community, and it's a donated spot. You know what I'm saying? And it's been like over 15 years we had this spot. rent free. It's right in Midtown. You know what I'm saying? And the way we got that spot was totally all praises to the Most High. But it was like we used to do these grassroots events where they had these potlucks, community potlucks monthly, and we would close it out with breaking, you know, or dance freestyle, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But they would have other stuff, you know, spoken word, blah, blah, blah. And then that's how we were able to get that spot. Yeah, you need some place to practice? Y'all can practice here. You know what I'm saying? That connect, you know what I'm saying? So we definitely have, you know, good neighbors, good people who are, you know, want to do good things. You know, I see Black people in the future. Yeah, I mean, it's a funny statement because it's like, you know, at the rate we're going, it's, you know, I don't know.
Because there's a mass exodus of Black folks leaving Detroit, right?
And and that's another reason why I call it hardcore Detroit that, because at that time it was really rough. You know, people was moving. They was moving at ATL.
For other reasons, right?
Yeah, for just various reasons. So like, you know, I showed my commitment. I put these in my grant application. I said, look, I was willing to stick it out when everybody else was leaving, create a business that's going to be good for the community, and putting Detroit in the name of that business shows you the commitment, you know what I'm saying, and the loyalty that I have for my city. And that's at a time where a lot of people were like, see ya.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So so just being through that, you know, is very interesting. And I do have a solid, like Hardcore Detroit has a solid position here, man, because, you know, we've been here for so long and people seen us, you know, from our involvement, you know, one of the DIA, Detroit Institute of Arts, you know what I'm saying? They were one of our first big, you know, clients, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, they hired us so many times over the years for performance and stuff like that, you know, and they had dope budgets and things like that. So, you know what I'm saying? I can't hate, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's institutions, private institutions, you know, like they see what's up, you know, and sometimes, you know, like our people, you know what I'm saying, aren't ready, you know what I'm saying, or like, you know, as far as like having the know-how to be able to exploit certain things, you know what I'm saying, or like how to play, you know, in this whole realm, you know, but we're starting to understand it, you know what I'm saying, you know, there's other dance groups now, you know what I'm saying, they doing very well branding themselves and creating these networks and, you know, getting these funds and things like that. So it's interesting. It's just interesting, you know, just seeing it. So I'm just sitting back, you know, sipping my tea and watching everything. And like,
not the tea, right?
Right.
No doubt. So we've been talking about gentrification, right? But we've been talking about it more of like a city thing. Is breakin gentrified?
Shoot, man, that's big. I mean, but dude, like, I don't place the blame fully on, you know, the people who's embracing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot has to do with us. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's just a shame, man, that we can't see the value. You know, like you know, man, it's just so weird. But it's weird because, you know, like certain things was popping off, you know, lately on social media about these topics, man, and I always said, you know, like I always had this, you know, we had these conversations, you know, but I always felt that we shouldn't be the ones talking about this. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't have to. It should be them that should be bringing this to light. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. But yeah, we have a responsibility too, because we always, you know, when you look at historically, you know, we create shit and abandon it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
It's like the
so
gift and the curse, right? We're so good at creating
yeah,
these new hot things, but then when you're just constantly creating, you also constantly moving to the next thing and forgetting, what you've created.
right, right,
No doubt.
yeah. So
I mean, like you said too, it doesn't make it gentrification is a negative word, but
yeah,
like other people being into the breaking isn't necessarily a bad thing.
no.
I just don't know why. Well, I mean, hell, breaking's hard. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, I can do this running, man. Which I can learn in 2 minutes, or I can do this breaking, which is gonna take me like 2 years.
But also too, I think at a time it's like people just didn't, because you know we led by money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? But you can make money, you know, if you do things right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if it's not heavily promoted that you can, you know, people is not going to take your word, or people are not going to have that foresight to be able to like envision of how you can. You know what I'm saying? So it's a you know, it's a lot of other things too.
No doubt. Well, post COVID, and when I start, and as the channel grows, man, I'm gonna start pulling up places, man. What are some must go to events if I want to go and just really see what the Midwest is about, or even specifically Detroit? What event do I need to come to?
Well, one of my events, man, is a key event called Jit versus House. You know what I'm saying? That's I think that's a brilliant event, man. It's you know, me and Brian Footwork Green probably know of.
Yeah.
New York pillar. You know what I'm saying? He's an advocate and a fan of Detroit Jit for a long time. We came together on this initiative just to kind of like, you know, put these two in an arena. You know what I'm saying? It's the format is structured a particular way, but it's just this good vibe, you know. So it's different for people. You know, a lot of people, you know, B-boys and, you know, poppers, whatever, come to these events. But if you're ever in town and, you know, around that time, you should check that out. We have it's not like we have annual events. Oh shoot, man, like, why am I blanking right now? We have, you know, we have a Motor City Street Dance Academy, who Math One, definitely a pillar in the community right now, engaging with the youth. You know what I'm saying? B-boy community, and, you know, really networking, extending out to like key people from just the worldwide community. You know what I'm saying? And they bring a lot of events here too as well. So I always support them guys. They support me.
So ain't no hardcore Detroit anniversary? Where's that at?
You know what? I was gonna do it big, man. I was gonna do it big. I had a great idea, but you know, the way I was approaching it was like it was gonna take some funds, and I was trying to make it into a grant initiative, and I wasn't able to do it. So, but it's something on the horizon. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like that's necessary. A lot of people bring that up, man. You know, maybe I'm just, you know, like at this stage of the game where I was like, I don't know. I'm in a weird place right now. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But you know, I'm also led by the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Like he, and this is how it's always been. I feel like he gives me the sign in which direction to go. You know, if it's time for that, he'll let me know, and that's where I go. And that's kind of how I've been playing it, you know, for my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And it's been working. You know what I'm saying? So that way, I don't have to like deal with a lot of bull crap.
Right.
And I tried to force certain things too, and it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? You know, so so that's where I'm at. You know, Dance, yeah, it's a huge part of my life. You know what I'm saying? But
Have you been involved in any kind of entertainment industry related projects?
well,
Well, I
hardcore
know
Detroit is
one thing I do know from just from my research is that, I mean, you mentioned your brother's rap group. That was your debut. That was the beginnings of Stringz as far as being known to the entertainment world.
right, right. Man, it's like okay, where did I start with that? I mean, because really, like hardcore Detroit, it's a crew, but it's a business too.
Okay.
And like that's been since I established as a business, tax ID number and all. You know what I'm saying? Bank account and all. Like I pay, my talent with hardcore Detroit checks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
and
Dope.
I want that's one thing that early on I felt like that was one of my aspirations to get to that level. You know what I'm saying? Seeing how they did business at the Rocksteady anniversaries and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to get on that level. And I saw that a huge problem was that, when we did do shows and we was in entertainment, you know what I'm saying? We wasn't doing it right. And, we would always get complained about not being paid or being paid well. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing was like, okay, how can I can establish this so we can, and it actually worked. We was getting paid bread, contracts, learn how to do all of that. Um, so to the point now is where like I can pretty much, if I get a client and there's a certain thing that needs to be done, I'm able to do it and pull from the community. It doesn't have to just be my crew.
Okay.
So like, so we are like, that entertainment company in a way. And, some of these other dance crews are starting to follow suit as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Do you think like part of the problem as far as like getting, making sure all the funding is always there and so on and so forth, do you think that there's like a lack of respect from the mainstream entertainment industry for breaking in America, at least?
I mean, if they can get away with something, they're going to get away with it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, how can you, it's about budgets, and how can you like not go over budget or like, you know, um, get the best you can out of a budget. So if that means, not, being able to get something for cheap, I mean, that just happened around the board, no matter who you are, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do feel like you have to look at it. Not people can't take certain things personally in business sometimes, even though business can be like freaking corrupt. Um, yeah, so it's just I mean, it's crazy. There's so many different dynamics with it. Like even like I found during this process that like, should I have paid my dancers this much? Because it seemed like they were like so much invested when they was getting chump change. You know what I'm saying? Or like getting paid at all. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, I mean, it's just like, it just, it makes you think sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, am I doing this right? At the end of the day, or am I paying people too fast or certain things like that,
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, like, because people, sometimes I feel like people get to hardcore Detroit and think they made it and then they just stop trying to get better. You know what I'm saying? Some people just fall off completely like, yo, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But in this game too, man, I can see why people try to avoid it too, because, like if I had, like looking at it in hindsight, it does take something out of your creativity, when you start stepping over the other side of business. But I think at the end of the day, it is more rewarding when you can explore both or do both. But now that I know, it's like, I have to be really conscious of certain things, so it's real interesting.
So, one last thing I definitely want to ask you, because you've been in the game for, decades. OG of your city, traveled the world doing breaking, made it into a business. How do we go about it as a culture, just like raising the visibility of it and even the profitability of what it is we love so much? Because unfortunately, currently for the most b-boys, majority of b-boys, you're gonna age out because rent gonna get high. You're gonna, what I'm saying, you gotta pay groceries, you start having kids, you gotta pay for them, so on and so forth. How do you see us raising the visibility so that we can raise the viability of what we love so much?
Wow. I would say diversifying yourself. I know that's an old term, and I know it's just like every day now. Today, it seems like a lot of the traditional ways are becoming obsolete, and it's like it's starting to be like very hard to like foresee how things are gonna go. But I feel like you can't go wrong with diversifying yourself in the business because that's something that I'm able to sustain on. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much you can do. With dance. Like if I just look at myself, yeah, you can judge, you can make films, you know, um, you can you can create shows, produce shows, you can create events. Um, I work at a university teaching dance. Like it's so much you can do um, with it. So it's like you can apply for grant funding. You can do interesting creative collaborations. That can take you and have you travel all across the world and help communities abroad. Uh, so I was just to say as a dancer, what I'm saying, I know we just want to engage and get the dopest we can get at dancing, but you have to use that same energy with the other stuff too, what I'm saying, because that's going to help propel you, what I'm saying, in all these different places. Branding, I think, helps too, and understanding branding. And, some people just think branding is just, having a logo or something like that. But there's so much more in depth in that because you can use that to leverage certain things, having an artist statement, as a, if you're an artist, what is the statement that, what are you trying to communicate in your art? Can you explain that? Can you, that might be just that, somebody might see that and like, oh, this is perfect for what I'm trying to do over here. I want to bring them out. But if you're just a dancer, that's with nothing, no context. It's like, oh, you see what I'm saying? It's nothing really to pull or draw from. And we know that people do, but sometimes it has a lot to do with like presentation, writing and stuff like that. Through this process, man, I learned how to write really good. I was not good at writing, I was not good at speaking, what I'm saying. These things, what I'm saying, through my journey, I got better with, and I kind of just throw myself in the fire, and I would consider that faith, having faith. Some people don't have that faith, so they won't make those moves, what I'm saying. Mentorship, what I'm saying, I try to mentor people because I know that's one of the most effective ways to, like, if you're really trying to get somebody to the next level, taking them step by step. Because you can say things all day to a person, what I'm saying, but what I'm saying, they're kind of lost. It's like having them trying to like figure out a combination lock, what I'm saying. So people do mentorship and apprentice type things in secret, and that's how they're able to get certain things in life. So we got to be able to use that and know why it's effective, what I'm saying. So, but then at the end of the day, people got to listen. I listen to everybody, what I'm saying. When I was paying everybody the same out of a budget, first, year of gigs, what I'm saying, the older person said, bro, you supposed to take more, what I'm saying, and this is why, what I'm saying. Oh, what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. So, and you know, later after that, you know, having certain dancers find out and being upset and having to explain it.
Right,
You know,
no
but now
doubt.
they know now, you know what I'm saying? Because I see those same people, they have their own groups doing well. And I'm sure they have to do the same thing. So, I mean, knowledge is power. And, you know, just try to get as much knowledge as possible, man. It's like, read, man. It's like, you're not going to get everything on the TV and things like that. You know, educate yourself as much as possible, man. I'm not the smartest person at all, man. And another thing too, man, I think sometimes people now, especially in my community, may look at me because I'm at a certain place in my life, but I started off with truly humble beginnings. You know what I'm saying? I went to a DPS school, which, you know, DPS is, you know, you only can learn certain amount in DPS school. So consider that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
no doubt.
I moved like 12 times growing up. You know what I'm saying? I used to hate moving. That's why I hate moving now. You know what I'm saying? I love it, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like looking back on it, I'm saying, but I'm just within the city because it was just hard. It was hard for my moms and us, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, use your story. Everybody got a story. You don't have to do the same thing somebody else doing. You have a unique story. You know, write it down. You'll figure, you know, you'll find out that, you know, once you write it down and look at it, like, oh snap, like I got something here, unique. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, just take those small steps, man. And I'm telling you, the Most High make it bigger if you have some faith. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Well, there it is, brother. Thank you for coming on the platform and speaking like a true OG.
Sure,
a
sure.
Midwest
I don't even
legend.
consider myself an OG, man.
Man, you have to. You have to. You started before. I mean, you are hardcore
Still
Detroit,
learning.
man. You know what I'm saying? Once you put your city in your name and you do it for as long as you've done it, man, and you do it as big as you've done it, that's all it can be. What else you gonna call it? You know what I'm saying? But thank you for taking us beyond the Cypher and showing us what's going on in your life and giving us that game. And we just appreciate you, man.
Word. One other thing before,
Go
man,
ahead.
before I forget, man, I just wanted to show you this right here, man. Did that look familiar?
Oh snap! Issue 1. Oh, with California on the cover.
Definitely. I think I got this one at an event, man, and like I knew how, like, yo, I was like, a book on breaking, during this time, like a magazine, like, yo, I gotta cop this. This is still like mint condition, bro.
Yeah, man, that's dope. That is wild, man.
Yeah, I heard
And
you was the creator behind this, so
yeah,
I was like, I
yep,
gotta show him. I know I got one of these.
yeah, man. And actually, the K in the skills, that's my boy Gary. Me and him started our crew together. Yeah, that's a silhouette of him. Yeah,
That's
no
dope.
doubt, man. Word.
Yeah,
Maybe one day when they do a break-in museum, maybe that'll get thrown in there somewhere.
exactly.
No doubt, bro. But again, thanks again, man. Stay up, and whenever I'm in Detroit, man, I'm gonna be looking for you. And if you in Arizona, man, look for me. I'm out here.
For sure. All right, man.
Peace, man.
Peace and love.
All right now.